Hi guys, my name is Adisham.
And I'm Wale.
On today's episode of Mailbox, we'll be addressing different mails from different people from all over the world. Our first mail today is from Carl from Ghana. He says, thinking of giving up on my dreams. Hello, I've been an artist for years and I'm yet to get my big break. I'm very good at this, very talented. I write beautiful lyrics, even for some big artists. I just don't know why my case is different. I have contemplated quitting so many times, but I sometimes somehow find myself going back to music. Any advice?
So, there are different dimensions to problems that when you don't begin to look at it from a different perspective, you won't see the breakthrough. So the breakthrough might also be from a different perspective entirely. So still, you have the love for it, you have the passion for it. One of the major reasons why most people quit is that they are not benefiting as they think they should benefit from a particular thing. I'm not going to tell you to wait, because it's not a waiting game. It's actually a perspective game, which is, can you change your perception on how you see music? Can you enlarge your scope in terms of what you currently see as music, so to speak? There are quite a number of people who probably are on that same path. They write music for people. Those guys become, global phenomenon and all of that. But in this age where you actually can be, not just get credit for the things you write, but also, do a whole lot more. There's some people who were comedians, for instance, and found out that they could actually sing very well, and that big break will come by reason of you observing what the other people are doing. All right, and then again, it's not the last result; it's actually the first result, which is prayer, that God should direct and open your eyes to see essentially what you're missing. So there is something there that you're missing. There is a knowledge gap. There is definitely a knowledge gap. You might be good at what you're doing, but there's the business side of it that maybe perhaps you're missing. So if you, for instance, pray about it and then, talk to other people, and then they can show you what that missing link is. I think that's my counsel. Yeah,
there's a saying that says winners don't quit and quitters do not win. That is to say, don't ever think of giving up on anything you are putting your hands into. Then again, if you understand the way it works, so for talent, sometimes the complaint comes when it's not rewarding. It's not being commercialized, you're not popular, but you still love it. So sometimes you have passion for certain things, but then that thing that will actually give you the bread and butter on your table might not be that thing that you have talent for. So I could remember an advice sometimes ago that my friend told me. I have passion for certain things, and he said, you know what, why not just focus on what you're currently doing and expand on it, as against that can go vis-a-vis whatever you have passion for. So that's a lot of mistake people make. You just feel because you have talent for something is natural. It should just be that thing that would make you break even. Don't forget the story of Peter. They were fishers of men. Yeah. They became disciples, still in line. You might be an artist, you might be writing songs. Probably you might be a writer for something big in the nearest future. Yeah. So whatever you're putting your hands into, pray about it. Don't quit. Keep doing what you know how to do best. Why you commercialize whatever you need to, at least so that you won't be frustrated, because a lot of frustration, people are in our industry, the entertainment industry, we've seen a lot of people breaking even at a very old age. I give people a lot of time. An example, Fatai Rolling Dollar. He became an ambassador with one of the brands at the age that's 60 plus. Who knows that? 70. That's you. In fact, your dream will have died. I remember the story of Alwolo that my dad keeps telling me, when they gave him the vision that it was going to be great, that one day they gave the mother the message that one day the whole nation will stand up and would take a bow. The woman didn't see it. It didn't happen. She was getting old. The son was getting old. Like, I don't understand what this dream is, but they kept doing what they were doing. So look at the age he became. Do you understand what I'm saying? So Awolowo's name now is that household name that everybody is now a brand in itself. So that is to tell you that, I could keep going on and on and on and on. It's not like you should be a fighter, not a freedom fighter. However, If it's a talent, and I mean, because for every talent is being ordained by God, meaning that put it into good use and ask God for clarity and direction on what to do. Right. Don't ever give up on your dreams and don't ever quit. That's what I think.
That's actually very powerful.
So that's it, Carl from Ghana. I hope we've been able to address your mail. The second mail is from Faith. Faith is from Birmingham. She said, I want my family to be saved. Hi, I grew up in an atheist home. However, I found Jesus while in the university. For 3 years, I've been praying for the salvation of my family, but only my younger brother had made progress. What else can I do so it's not too late for them?
Okay, so interestingly, most people who found Jesus usually want most of their family members also saved. But there's usually one mistake, and the mistake is called the human clutch. So most of the time, we want to be responsible for the salvation of our family members. But because you know so much about them, and there is this pushiness about this thing, there's a particular story about somebody who, it was Kenneth Hagin who actually wrote the book, and then he said there was a particular member of the family that they were praying for, but he thought that it was the one to save the person. There's nothing he hasn't done. He will take the person to church, he will buy the person books, he will do all the things and all of that. But the moment God showed him that you have a human clutch on this particular person because it's an emotional thing, God couldn't do anything. So the moment the person went out and then had an encounter with somebody else, and that person got the person saved. So what happens is that we want to take the place of the Holy Spirit in the salvation of people's soul. Humans only have words. It is the Holy Spirit that energizes people to get into that place of conviction and conversion. And God can use anybody. You'll see the story of Paul, for instance. If there was nobody else who could have convinced Paul otherwise, to Jesus Christ, except Jesus himself, who visited him by himself. See the story of Cornelius. Cornelius was a devout man. He was in his house praying, and then God sent Peter. Peter would never believed that the Gentiles were supposed to be saved. Right. So the conversation is not a straightforward conversation. We are not the Holy Spirit. We're not supposed to take the role of the Holy Spirit. Our role in the salvation of people's soul is that you pray that God will give them an encounter that is peculiar to themselves. Even our children who probably grew up in a Christian home might not necessarily be saved. All right, but there's going to be a time where they will have an encounter with Christ as a personal journey, and it would not have anything to do with us. One time my son came back from school, and I've been trying to teach him how to knot a tie. Been trying to teach him, as a father, it would be like a good father-son moment, only for him to come and say to me that one of his friends was the one that taught him. And the truth about the matter is that he could not tie. That's the most important thing. But for me, I actually wanted it to be myself who would teach him, and he would remember it for the rest of his life. So there are sometimes we have those things, we want all those proud moments. I got my family saved, but there is an intercessory aspect, which is that God will intervene in the process of salvation. It doesn't have to be you. It may be you, but just leave it to God. God will deal with the matter.
Just like you said, work of salvation is the job of the Holy Spirit, not yours. I mean, you are even still in the Christian race. You really can't even say who had made progress and who had not made progress. So if somebody has 3 years made progress, we are still in this world. So look at the story of Saul turning to Paul on his way to Damascus. Who would have known that somebody that is a persecutor of the brethren would be the one that will now eventually be preaching Christ? And a whole lot of stories that we can pick up. That's to tell you that nobody is lost. Your prayer is just the only thing that they need. Allow the Holy Spirit to do the job of that. Then again, Christianity is more of what you do than what you say, even more than what you even act like, because let others see Jesus in you. It is that Jesus that they see in you that people would want to emulate and say, you know what, if this thing can happen to this guy, if this guy can be this way, I want to be part of. So that will go a long way. So rather than putting pressure, don't even let them start seeing you like a fanatic, because by the time you now start making it look like, it's just like some kids that are pastors' children, and then you just want to by force, by fire, by force, you want them to be under some certain tutelage. They're looking at you They are looking at how you move, what you say, how you react. In fact, they will even test your faith and see how you react. So you also should actually balance up. In the place of prayer, speak to God about them every day. Don't be tired of speaking to God about them, because when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen is not in your hand, it's in God's hand. So leave it to God, and I'm sure He will perfect that work of faith. He that has helped you to meet Christ in your university will also help them as well. And I pray God will bless you and help you. So that will be it for your story, Faith from Birmingham. The last story for today's episode, the last mail, is from Kola. Kola is from Lagos. Kola says, marrying someone that cannot cook. Hello. I've been dating my girlfriend for a year plus, and I honestly want to marry her. The only problem is she hates cooking. She can do all the house chores in the world except for cooking. We've talked about it, getting a cook and all, but I still think it's going to be a big problem in future. Do you think I'm overthinking it? Caller from Lagos.
I think you might be overthinking it, caller. There is absolutely no gender. So there is a cultural bias from your side, which means that a woman must know how to cook. Nothing stops you as a man to know how to cook.
He doesn't probably to know how to cook.
Well, you might not know, but it might be nice for you guys to probably even bond over this cooking thing, laugh over it. Don't make it a big issue. So what has happened is that I think culturally, most people from a certain tribe essentially believe that a woman who doesn't know how to cook wasn't brought up properly, which is wrong, right? There are certain people who have flair for certain things. Even as a man, there are some, so you can say all of these things. Even a guy, for instance, do you know how to wash your car? Do you know how to wash clothes? I mean, what are the chores that are essentially meant for men? Do you know how to cut grass with cutlass? Is this something that you really would like to do? You know, so some of these conversations are things that we need to think not just outside of the box, but they are traditional roles that we have been boxed to know how to do. There are male who actually would love to cook. All right, so be open-minded about this conversation. I know it will take a while for your mind to be renewed as to, you know, what position you should take on this particular matter. But then again, I'm sure there are also pressure from other people, which is what would my mom say if they come to our house, you know, to eat, and I'm giving them, you know, bought food or a cook's food and all of that. All of those things are, I think you should renew your mind about this concept of gender.
Yes, you have to learn and unlearn certain things. So from the name, Kola is a Yoruba boy. So he's from that Yoruba part of Nigeria that believes that a woman's role is in the kitchen. You also said she can do all the chores in the world except for cooking. So cooking, how many food are you even eating that you now make cooking the yardstick for making a decision? However, if cooking is the deal breaker in making your decision, maybe you shouldn't make it. So that we won't be starting problem from the get-go. So that we wouldn't advise and say, you know what, cooking is not just a big, maybe he's big on food, maybe he's a foodie, and he feels that it's only that food that can lead to happy, how do they say it? Men that likes food, they happy food, happy life, or something happy wife, happy life. So maybe this one is happy husband now. Happy husband, happy life. Maybe he's already seen that. Instead of advising to say that, you know what, food is really not. And then again, so it's clearly that Eshinwa Junite, you know, like a Yoruba person, say probably from the home that I grew up from, the mom is the best cook ever. The female in the house are cooks. But he must also try to learn and unlearn certain things, because there are other things too that even you won't be able to do. That will be a deal breaker for her, because as you're trying to check her in making your decision, people shouldn't be thinking the process of making decision for getting married to somebody is one way. It's actually two-way traffic. Because by the time you bring out your own on cooking, she too should bring, maybe you're even dirty, you can't even say, or maybe there are other things, maybe you're even stingy. There can be 1,001 things, but the essence of relationship is for two parties to be able to come together in understanding, learn and unlearn certain things. Try as much as possible. Let's always not go into relationship with one mind. That 1 + 1 is 2, and 2 plus 0 is also that 2. Have a open mind, because there are two different people coming from different
background,
wired different ways.
They're actually bigger value system.
So this person that even says she cannot cook, she might even be a fast learner. And for all you care, I mean, there are even YouTube videos that you people are still going out. Now just 1 year, I mean, before you make decision of a marriage, another 12 calendar month. By the time she start the course on YouTube and she start watching for every meal, no, that thing works. So a lot of people study and they learn fast, and she might even be good with other kind of meals, maybe snacks or the likes, maybe just that food. Or it's even possible that, so there are also some female that try to hide their talents because you like food. She doesn't cook when she comes to your house, so, and she tells you, or maybe she wants you to always take her out to get food or something. She'll say, I can't cook, and then you just believe that she can't cook. I've actually had a friend that he believed that the wife can't cook, but she can actually cook. She kept hiding it until they got married, because she's of that belief that I'm not married to you, you do it. There's some expectation, that there are some things that you do, there's some responsibility. Exactly. And she was actually a cook. The girl was showing, like, that's how I've just missed. I said, you see now. So you'll have used cooking to miss out on it. There are important things in marriage. This age and time. How many food did people even cook in their house this age and time? Because most of the time, that half of the time, people are eating out. I mean, that people are hanging out. There's Uber. It's not like I'm encouraging that. However, cooking shouldn't be a deal breaker on making certain jobs. There's character.
Don't let your belly be your God.
Exactly. That settles it. So that is it. Thank you so much. So that will be it on this episode of Mailbox. Till next time, my name is Adesho.
And I'm Wale. Peace.